Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Zach Young, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we're joined by Tamika Thomas, founder of Tuesday with Tamika, a coaching and growth brand dedicated to helping driven women break through self-doubt, shift limiting beliefs, and build confidence that fuels forward momentum in their personal and professional lives. Tamika's approach blends mindset transformation with practical strategies so her clients can stop struggling with internal blocks, show up with clarity and confidence, and take consistent, empowered action toward their goals. She's passionate about helping women reclaim their voice, strengthen their self-trust, and build resilience that supports real growth and fulfillment, both in business and beyond. Tamika, a very, very warm welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so funny when you hear your bio, you're like, geez, I do all that, don't I?
You're pretty cool, aren't you? I love it. Going to be a lovely episode. We have a lot to dive into. Before we do, I do like to start with your background, though. So before Tuesday with Tamika, can you walk us through what were you doing previously and what was really your inspiration for getting into this space?
Yeah, I love that question. So, I have been in the mental health space for many years. So, I worked with prevention and early intervention, which was amazing. I loved it, but there's so much red tape around mental health and also access. There are a lot of women, particularly women of color, that the access is not there, as well as the trust. So, I love that you talked about, like in my bio, building that trust. That trust isn't there. So I wanted to find a way to get around the red tape to help a broader audience and to really lead them into the healing and into the elevation and ultimately into the business and mindset growth that they desired, but they didn't have the access or even know how to get there. So that was really my background professionally and personally. I do believe that I have used the tools that I now implement the tools that I use for myself. So I was in a space of desperate need of somebody like me. And I
Mm.
really had to, from the ground up, had to rebuild my life after divorce, after a massive stroke, and after many suicide attempts and thoughts of suicide. So I've given
Mm.
my clients what I needed most.
Wow. I mean, that is a lot, but I think it does go along with you are always your best first client,
Yes, for sure.
right? You do the work with yourself, you see the results, then essentially it's your life's mission to
Absolutely.
help people that were in a similar situation to you. I absolutely love that. I want to ask before we dive in, when did Tuesday with Tamika start? How long have you been doing this for?
Yeah, so it actually started in 2015 and a really fun like backstory. I was going to schools with teen moms. So I believe that they're called continuation schools. I would go to continuation schools with teen moms. And this one particular school, the teacher wrote on the board, "It's Tuesday with Tamika." And so when I walked into the room, the girls would be like, "Hi, Miss Tamika. I'm so happy. I love that it's Tuesday." And so when I was building my business in 2015, I'm like, okay, what do I name it? What do I name it? What? And literally it came to me what I believe would to be God said, why not use what you've been doing? It's Tuesday with Tamika. And it's so it's like, it sticks. It's easy to remember and it's I've been running with it for 10 years now.
It works, let me tell you. I know you've heard that, but it comes off the tongue easy. You remember it. I love it. Tremendous name. Tremendous name.
Thank you.
So 10 years, long time in the business, right? I'm sure the business has gone through a few different iterations throughout the years, but let's dive into the present day. Can you walk us through, what does working with Tamika look like today? How do you structure your work with your clients? Everything like that.
Yes. So I do have a three-tier model, and I do have a couple of different ways that folks can work with me. But for my most like intimate clients, I really focus on the healing because I believe you can only build a business to the level that you've healed. So many businesses come and go because there's some inner stuff. Most folks that are in the entrepreneur space, they know that it tests your identity, it tests your self esteem, it tests your character. And so, when those things that are still in your heart and in your mind, when there's a misalignment and you're building your business because you're trying to, heal a daddy wound or healed a mommy wound or healed a relationship breakup or whatever you're trying to do, ultimately it fails if you haven't done the foundational work. So the first step is some deep healing. We walk through healing, and a lot of my clients don't like me in this part. And I'm like, don't fire me yet because it gets good. But that's the first part of it is we definitely walk through the healing, and then we walk through the elevation, elevating our identity, elevating our money, elevating our mindset so we can get to the end product, which is the beautiful business, podcast, book, whatever they're deciding to build. That is the ultimate goal. So it's about 3 to 6 months. And there are some, it is curated for my clients depending on what they need, but it is a 3-step process that they work through working with
Yeah.
me.
I love that start of the process, right? I mean, isn't it just crazy how things that happened in our childhood are still affecting us today? We may be 30, 40 years old, and the reason why we have these blocks, the reason why we can't get to this space is because we still have an angry 6-year-old inside of us. That is so
100.
crazy to me.
100%. And when the beautiful part of the work I do, I like to call it integration. When I get to see that 6-year-old show up, that 13-year-old, that 18-year-old, and then I can integrate those parts of them so that they could be their best self. But so many people are operating from their childlike self and they don't
Mhm.
know it because there's people that aren't showing them. They're not putting the mirror in front of them and saying, this is the reason why you're not being, doing, and having everything that you desire.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say 99.99% of people probably need someone like yourself to hold up that mirror, right? Because, I mean, who has the self, what's the word I'm looking for? The self, I don't want to,
Awareness.
yeah, the self-awareness to be like, man, the reason why I can't stay in a relationship or I can't build this business is because of something that happened so long ago. I mean, let's be honest, none of us are doing that work. So, I mean, I just can't I can't overstate the value that someone like yourself brings because
Thank
we
you.
are all holding so many things throughout our body from our past and we got to clear them and it's not easy to do.
It's so true. And what you said, one of my big things that I teach my clients, and I actually, there's a book that I have them read. It's called The Body Keeps Score. And so
Mhm.
often we wonder, why am I showing up this way? Why does, why around the holidays here in the States, we're getting ready to celebrate all of these big holidays, but there's people that are angry or sad and they don't understand. But it's because when they were 5, they wanted, the Ninja Turtle toy or whatever, and they didn't receive it. And so now they still don't even know how to enjoy because they haven't released that from their cells, from their body, in order for them to be, the 30-year-old man that can give and receive. Receiving, especially for women, receiving is so big. We can give, but the receiving part, so many women do not know how to properly price their offer or scale their offer because the
Mm.
receiving hasn't been they haven't been able to receive because when they were little they were told no, it's not good for women to girls to receive, whatever the reason. So yeah, this work is powerful, and I'm glad that I have been chosen to do
I mean, we could talk about this for an hour, maybe until Christmas, who knows? But it's just such a deep conversation and it's very needed as well. I love that. So, a lot of different ways to work with you. I mean, you have this bespoke one-on-one, which is obviously tremendous. Looking to the back end of the business for a second, how are most of your clients currently finding you to work with you?
Yeah, it's the power of social media. It is so interesting. Even like the last 2 weeks, I've been very quiet on social media because I am currently going through a rebrand. And so I don't want to confuse my audience, but just the content that I have put out, particularly on TikTok, I'm going over to the TikTok with the young folks, TikTok and Instagram. I have gotten an influx. TikTok, I think I've gained like over 5,000, almost 6,000 followers at this point in 2 weeks. Instagram over 1,000. And so I'm constantly getting DMs. And I am one that if I am not afraid of the DMs. So I go into the DMs, and that's how I get most of my clients and referrals. There is so much power in referrals. Once my ladies finish working with me or in the process of working with me, one of my clients sent me a meme where the Oprah, you get a car, she's like, you need it, Tamika, you need it, Tamika, you need it.
It's a powerful and consistent way to build a business, right? That is for sure. So, I mean, you're having great growth without even really, it sounds like putting much effort into it. Walk us through your social media content strategy a little bit.
Yeah, so it's definitely I love chat. Chat is my For those of you that don't know, ChatGPT is the best assistant that you can have. And so I every Sunday night I walk through and I say, "Hey, this is what I want to focus on, whether it's mindset, money blocks, whatever my, content that I want to build out for that week." And I say, "Hey, act as if," and this is a great prompt for anyone listening. Act as if you only have 30 minutes a day to edit, record and post social media. Give me content, give me the script, give me all the things. And so I do that every Sunday night, and that's for my social media content. And then I just push that content out. And then I am an avid believer that you only get what you give. So I spend in the morning 30 to an hour, 30 minutes to an hour, really engaging. So I'm engaging with my ideal client. I'm reaching out to them. I'm liking their content. I'm doing those things. And then once I post, I spend another 30 minutes to an hour just reaching out, because the algorithm likes that. And then it pushes your content out more. And then I'm intentional in my DMs. I send voice notes. People want to know that with the increase of AI, there's a lot of bots and there's a lot of things doing. And I do have some of those things in place as well because systems, the Atomic Habit says your business only rises and falls to the level of the systems that you have in your business. But people love the one-on-one interaction. So I'm on, voice notes. I'm doing those things to engage with people to let them know I am a real person. And then I have my podcast and I have other ways that people can engage with me as well.
I will say, Tamika, I talked to a lot of coaches on this show, and there are not a lot of them who are doing the work on social media that you are. Right. You,
Mm,
you didn't talk us through some elaborate posting schedule. You got to post at 7:29 a.m. Eastern every single Monday and Wednesday. That's not like the best time for the algorithm. No, you comment, you go on other people's pages, you like them, and you send voice notes. That, I mean, who has been sent a voice note, even from like their friends? But
right.
hey, some person that I follow online that I like her content, man, she sent me a voice note. The
Yeah.
connection that you build with that person in a split second, maybe they're not a customer, but maybe their friend is a customer because they said, "Hey, this Tamika is super cool." And I think, and I really like where you're at too, because you do utilize AI, which is important. It's a great tool. It's a tool,
Yes.
right? But you're also utilizing the most important tool, which is human connection.
Yes, absolutely. I think I truly believe in 2026 that is going to be our biggest tool is ourselves. We are our greatest resource. And with the abundance of AI tools, and trust me, I use a lot of them. But my biggest revenue generating system is me because
Mm.
people buy you. They don't buy, the product that you build, they buy you. They want to know, okay, I know, like, and trust this person. Once they know, like, and we've all heard this in this business, but once they get through the know, like, and trust, then we get to the big B, which is buy. They will buy from you.
So many good nuggets in there. So many good nuggets. That is top-notch stuff right there. So, Tamika, been in business for 10 years now. I gotta assume you have a team working with you in some capacity. Could you walk us through your team and kind of how you built that?
Yeah, another tool or system that is really overlooked is partnership. And so I have really grown my business exponentially in the last 2 years due to partnership. So I have gotten into partnership with an amazing another coach, and we're building this beautiful community, which that has really helped because one, it causes me to stay consistent, but then it also just helps us to share authority and share influence. In addition to that, I do have an AI, I'm sorry, not an AI. I do have a virtual assistant, an amazing lady that helps me with scheduling emails. And because I do believe believe, those things are still, email is not dead, despite what people think. People want to know, like, they can reach you through email or different things like that. So I send out 2 emails a week, and I have an assistant that does that. I schedule them throughout the year. I try to at least 6 months in advance. I also have someone that helps me with my the podcast producing and things like that. And unpopular opinion, it's my brother. A lot of folks say don't work with family, but it's my little brother, and he's been at my hip since we were little. So I'm like, might as well keep him there. It's cheap labor. Don't tell him that, but he definitely helps with a lot of the editing and different technical things that are not my strong suit.
Yeah, I mean, you got to find people who can kind of fill those gaps, right? Because entrepreneurs, we can't be great at everything, right? We're
Right.
probably very good at one or two things, right? For a lot of people, it's good to outsource, but it's tough to do, right? We like holding on to the power, right? So
Absolutely.
it's a good process to get to. You said earlier you're going through a little bit of a rebrand. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, I am. So for the longest, my biggest thing that I've taught and I've teached and I've kind of preached to the mountaintops has really been about healing. And although that is will always be a foundational piece of my business, I really want to work with, and I believe I'm called to work with, a very intimate group of women that it may take me a little bit away from social media. It'll be more of a higher ticket offer. I've done a lot of memberships. I've done a lot of lower ticket, getting the folks in and building community and camaraderie. And that's still going to be a piece, but I am going to be doing more of, I want to say, like an elegant brand, more of a, I'm actually calling it, you're going to be the first person that I say this out loud to. It's going
Okay.
to be called the Sanctuary. And instead of it
Mm.
being a, group membership, I am going back to the one-to-one offer. And it's going to be a higher ticket offer, to really get deep. And this is for folks that are celebrities, folks that are really influential people that they don't want me to share their testimony, or they don't even want to share who they're working with. And I've already experienced some of that. So I know that I'm validating it currently. And I'm
Mm.
really excited to roll it out in 2026. There'll be some keywords for folks to know if this is for them. And that'll be where Tuesday with Tamika is going. I've also rebranded my podcast. It was formerly Tuesday with Tamika. It's now entitled Healing and Becoming. So I'm moving a little bit less away from me being the name to the outcome that I provide.
Mm. How long have you kind of been thinking about this for? How long has this been simmering for?
Zach, it's been about 2 or 3 years, and I did not want to let go, because it's like, I've built this. This is my baby. This is but if you really think about, I'm big on analogies and metaphor. And if you look at the amount of time that I've been in business, 10 years old is really like in natural sense for kids, right? This is when they're entering about fifth grade, middle school era, and they're really starting to separate they're getting some identity. They're not just the child of so and so, right? They kind of know who they are, what they believe, what they like, how they want to dress. And that's what I believe my business is doing. It's standing on its own feet, and it doesn't need me to champion it. It's the work that I'm doing is going to speak for itself.
Mm. Some growth right there. A
Yeah.
lot of growth. And, it never stops, whether your business is 20 years old, 30 years old, whether you're 50, 60, 70 years old, whatever it is, you keep growing.
You keep growing. And we know one of the reasons why businesses die is because they refuse to grow, right? There's so many instances of people that thought, like, we're going to do it the same way. But when you realize, like, okay, no, I am going to use this tool or that tool, or change or pivot and use some of these things, that's when you become a lasting brand.
Hmm. I feel like we just covered next year pretty well, right? So
Yeah.
next year is about going live with the rebrand, the new offer, really hitting the ground running there and just scaling that is, to your desired level.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes, I am believing, and this is scary to say, but I'm believing of having 30K months consistently. Like that is the income goal, because of the outcome that I'm going to be able to do because I'm not doing everything. As you mentioned, I'm letting go a lot of the pieces of my business so I can be more intentional and serve and steward at a higher level. So then that income, it isn't it amazing that when we do less, we can actually earn more? Like that
Hmm.
still doesn't make any sense to me, but I'm learning to allow it to make sense.
Yeah, and you're going to prove it next year. We'll have you back on, let's say Q3 of next year. We'll do a little check-in and you'll get to tell us how you're doing less, but you're making it substantially more. So I look
Let's
forward to
do
that.
it.
Perfect. Tamika, we talked about social media a good bit. Where's the best place for the listeners to find you, connect with you online?
Yes. So TikTok and Instagram, it's Coach Tamika on both of those sites. You'll be able to find me really easy. If you are a woman that's like, you know what, something about her I like, you could just email me at hello@tuesdaywithtamika.com. And I still do answer all my emails.
Perfect. Tamika, such a pleasure having you on. Tremendous conversation. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me. I wish you uninterrupted success in 2026.
To you as well. Thank you. And that will wrap up another inspiring episode of the Founders Feature. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to go and connect with Tamika on her social media. Shoot her an email as well. Email's not dead, as she said. All of her links will be in the show notes and description down below. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're looking to scale your business, and you really want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with our team and discover how we went from 0 to 30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on climbing.